These top three guys at the position, Ray, it is Ja'Marr Chase, who is the consensus wide receiver one. He's my wide receiver one this year. His ADP right now in Yahoo Leagues is 1.5. So sometimes first, sometimes seconds, but never third. Justin Jefferson, he's in this group as well. He's actually my wide receiver 3, but he's the consensus wide receiver 2. And CeeDee Lamb, who is my wide receiver 2, consensus wide receiver 3. So we know who these guys are, Ray. We know they're good at football. How do you like these three guys heading into this year?
Yeah, I think they're all three deserving of that elite tier, man. When you look at just what they bring to the table each and every rep, how their teams prioritize them in the offense, the type of offense that each one of these players sort of lives in, this is conducive for that extremely high-end outcome range for Ja'Marr Chase in Cincinnati, CeeDee Lamb with Dak Prescott. And then Justin Jefferson is the one, I think, if we were going to have some longer depth discussion about it, it's his ranking, right? Some people would be like, oh, man, you're tripping to have him number 3. I actually have him 4th for me. He's still one of the elite tier wide receivers. But the situation for Justin Jefferson has little to do with how good he is, and it has little to do with how good I think he's going to be in the long run, or more importantly, the quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. But it is a first-year quarterback starting in the NFL. And when you've got Justin Jefferson on this offense, you have a player like Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, and the investment that they've made up front, which suggests they're probably going to try to run the ball, take some pressure off of second-year quarterback but first-year starter, J.J. McCarthy. It's not a matter of Justin Jefferson can do it. I think he will and can be one of those elite receivers. But if it were me, I would have him just one spot lower than another player. But looking at CD, getting Dak Prescott back, Ja'Marr Chase, I can argue, Matt, that Cincinnati underutilizes Ja'Marr Chase. There's more meat left on that bone if he were to get a larger slice of Cincinnati's pie. The problem is they've got T. Higgins, but give Ja'Marr Chase a 30% target share and watch how much better he could be. Those are the top 3 guys, maybe minus a player.
I'm excited to hear about who that player is very shortly. We're going to get into that. Yeah, last year, just to go back to Justin Jefferson, the Vikings were 16th in overall pass rate. I think there's a chance that comes down a little bit. As you mentioned, they traded for Jordan Mason, gave him a contract. They added to that interior of the offensive line. They've really been signaling that they want to get more rushing efficiency out of this offense. And I think they just want to straight up run the football more. And also when you look at the passing game as well, the Vikings do so much to get Justin Jefferson open against really difficult coverage down the football field. They want to get those shots. And last year, the Vikings were very explosive play kind of inflated. Their 12.4% explosive play rate was 6th in the NFL. They were behind the Ravens, the Lions, the Packers, the Bucks, the Falcons, oddly enough. That'll be interesting with Michael Penix under center, whether that goes up, actually. But yeah, so they were 6th in explosive play rate. That's really, they lived on that explosive play. I think they want to get more like singles and doubles in this offense, which probably is still good for Jefferson. Like if you're hitting a double single to somebody, you're feeding one of these players layups. It's probably still Justin Jefferson. But again, that's some of these factors, in addition to the fact that, J.J. McCarthy is a unknown. That's just why I've broken the tie kind of in favor of CeeDee Lamb there in an offense that I think is going to push to lead the NFL in pass attempts, is a proven player, the proven quarterback. Again, that's why I've just given the slight bump to CeeDee Lamb over Justin Jefferson. Before we transition away from this group, honestly, there's another point I'm going to make before we get there. But my big question about these three, because we kind of know who these guys are, I don't think we have any big concerns. How are you ranking these guys from an overall perspective when we look at the top 3 running backs, which are Bijan, Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs? Are you taking these receivers ahead of any of those guys? Are you ranking the running backs ahead of them? Because I think we agree they're first-round picks, but when you're stacking the rest of the first round, where do they end up for you?
I'll say this. Ja'Marr Chase is my one-on-one, all formats. Okay. It doesn't matter. 7 days a week, even if there's an 8th day, it's Ja'Marr Chase. I keep saying it, Matt. There's more upside in Ja'Marr Chase. I think he is fully capable of that elusive. We've seen players get close to 2,000 yards. You just look at the percentage of his team's pie versus some other players. You give him 30% of this. You get him top 5 in the NFL in air yards. Get him. There is more fantasy upside, as crazy as it sounds, in Ja'Marr Chase. And you know what? He's got the damn quarterback to do it. So Jamar Chase, I'm taking him over anybody and everybody. And I can make a strong case this year for another player, Matt, but he ain't up yet, so I can't bring him up. So, yeah, Jamar Chase over the running backs. But after that, I could take Saquon Barkley or Bijan 2-3 and then take another receiver.
Yeah, it's funny to hear you say like he has more fantasy upside, because if you just look at the scoring from last year, 339.5 total half PPR points. Jefferson was number 2, 265.98. So he was already lapping the field last year. Ray is saying there's even more meat on the bone. I agree with you. For me, I have it Jamar Chase 1 overall, and then I do have the 3 running backs, Bijan, Saquon, Jahmyr Gibbs, then CD, then Justin Jefferson, then one more guy who is in my first tier of wide receivers. I didn't group him here because he's not this way in ADP, but I'm curious to see if we've landed on the same guy here or not. So again, I agree with you that Jamar Chase is number 1. I would take him there. But then it is the running backs. My last point on this group before we move away, because it dovetails with your point about Jamar Chase, and a big part of why he exploded last year from a fantasy standpoint is, number 1, he's good at football, obviously. But the Bengals really made a concerted effort to move him around the formation, career high snaps in the slot. Jacob Gibbs pointed this out, that number of Jamar Chase's routes in motion pre-snap by season, 9 in his rookie year, 20 in 2022, 50 in 2023, and then 100 last year in 2024. So every year he's like doubling what he does in motion. So playing more spots, moving around the field, not just being that tethered X receiver like he was in his rookie season. That's how you get an elite fantasy season. So I think that's important to keep in mind as we move to the next group here.